And welcome back, everybody, to All Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, get over to Fatty Beer. Let me sent you over 2 goalies on Mike, just like we sent the Cespedes Family Barbecue podcast, the Barbiecast. Previous guest on our show, if you remember from a week ago, we suggested they go to Fatty Beer, and they went to the downtown location tonight before the game. They were in town, as you guys saw on our social media channel with 2 goalies on Mike, and I'm sure the Sabres shared to their channels, and they had a great time. So take it from them if you are familiar with the show. One of the bigger, sports and baseball podcasts in the country. They'll tell you too. Go check out Fatty Beer because they have a fantastic beer menu. Like I said, again, over 300 beers and a pretty good food menu too. Should not be slept on. And of course, Extreme Discount Mattress with Western New York's finest selection of mattresses and adjustable beds, featuring the Cool Gel Memory Foam, 2-sided mattresses, Tele-Latex, organic mattress, Chadwin Wells, and of course, Scott Living. All for 1/3 to a half the supposed sale prices anywhere. So stop in their 7 locations across Western New York and check out their website, extrememattress.com. That is extreme with an X. If you're looking for more savings, check out their new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga, with up to 80% off their already low prices. You can save a fortune on one-of-a-kinds, closeouts, and floor samples. You get a quality mattress for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. And remember, if you mention that you are a fan of 2 goalies, 1 Mike at any of their locations, you get a free mattress protector with any purchase of a mattress. So go check them out. You can't go wrong. I sleep on a mattress that I got from Extreme Discount Mattress, and my back has never felt better, honestly. I was sleeping on a big lump before I walked in through their doors, and they took care of me. So, and they'll take care of you. So go check them out. Again, would highly suggest the Scott Living mattress. That's what I have. So, but yeah, so it seems that the Sabres, I don't know, maybe they didn't get a good night's sleep. I'm not really too sure. To me, it felt like the only guy that really showed up to play tonight was Alex Lyon. I don't put the loss on him at all. I look back at all 4 goals they scored on him, and it's like not too sure what he was supposed to do on really any of the 4. He 2 blatant turnovers that led to goals. The one most egregious one was the one by Jacob Bryson that led to the 2-on-1. The 4th goal where the puck hits Bryson in front, Lions tracking it, and then gets the rebound and he scores on the rebound, or not even on the rebound because it never hit Ryan to begin with. Hit Byram. So just not a great game overall. I would say that's the worst game I've seen from the Sabres in 3 months. Like, without question. That was bad. So, picked a hell of a time to have a stinker, right? The power play, something needs to be done about this power play. Something absolutely needs to get done about this power play. It has gotten so bad, it's inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. Like, the first 3 power plays, I'm like, listen, I get it. That slingshot break in where, Darlene brings it up, drops the Tage, I get it. A lot of teams do it in the league, and for a lot of teams, it might work. But that was so hard to watch all night. They were literally lining 3, sometimes all 4 of their players up at the blue line because they knew it was coming, and they were stopping it every single time. And the only time that power play looked remotely cohesive is if they won the offensive draw, and they got possession that way. Because breaking into the zone, it wasn't working, and it was hard to watch. And they got booed. Boy, did they get booed! It was bad. It was really hard to watch, and I tweeted it out too. I think with this Olympic break, and I know Jarmo is like an assistant GM with the with Team Finland. Like, and I get that, but in the same breath, I don't know how you can honestly sit here and watch how bad that power play looked and not say, "Hey, I gotta bring in another set of eyes or change something up on this staff," because you're getting ready to play 15 games in 29 days when you come back on the 25th. You come back against New Jersey, and then you have another, you go back to the Sun Belt and you play. I'm not sure if the games with Florida and Tampa are back to back, but you're playing Florida and Tampa Bay again in Florida. Two very important division games, huge division games. And you cannot afford to be just giving away these opportunities on the power play anymore. You just can't. Again, it's inexcusable. How bad the power play has looked is inexcusable. And let's be frank, that fourth power play they had where Tage scored, that is just an individual effort from Tage. That's all that is. That isn't a creative breakout. That isn't puck movement. That is just Tage being Tage and just making it an elite Tage play. That is all that is. That is all that is. And to sit here and to sit there and try and defend Appert or whoever's running this power play. We're all made to believe it's Appert, right? And I don't know, like whoever it is, something's got to change. Do you bring in a guy from Vinny Prospel out of Rochester to try and fix this issue? A guy who had a good career, or, a very successful career as a goal scorer. He's helped, Rochester in the AHL. I think they have a top 5 power play. I don't know. Something's got to change. Something has to change. I don't know what it is. I don't know who they got to bring in, but this can't continue because I'm not going to keep, because again, the East is so tight right now. It's so tight. You just dropped out of third in the Atlantic to the first wild card spot with that loss tonight, and how the rest of the out of town scoreboard changed. So for you to sit there and you can't get too comfortable. And I'm gonna read you some of Alex Lyon's post game comments too, because I thought he said it best. He called this loss almost like a blessing in disguise. I'll let you. I'll pull up that interview. It's like a 15-second clip. I tried to find the whole video file, see if anybody posted out. I don't know if they did. They talked to him for quite a bit, and that's the one thing I love about goalies. And we can articulate things. Maybe not me, but guys like Alex Lyon. And remember in the past Ryan Miller. Even Devin Levi. When you've listened to him be interviewed. A goalie can always give a good interview. And the interview he gave after tonight's loss, it spoke volumes to me. He was essentially kind of asked, do you feel like this, and he didn't speak, he didn't sit flat out say, oh yeah, definitely. Because he's been here for less than one season. He hasn't really fully gotten to meet these guys yet and really gotten to know them. But I do believe, and he made it seem like he believed, that this is a high character room, with a lot of talent, a lot of grit, and they're not going to get comfortable. And I hope that's the case. And again, I'll read those. I'll read those comments here shortly. Duane, how many beers have you had at this game? Sounding a little slurred. No, I just lost. I actually don't drink. I shouldn't say I don't drink. But when I do drink, I maybe have one or two. This was just me being very angry after that game or during that game. Yelling a lot, like when Tage was alone in the high slot, nobody within a country mile of him, and he couldn't control the puck. And on that play, you're thinking, that's a goal. That's a goal. Me screaming at the referees when Tage makes a fantastic move and gets hooked And the penalty they called on Kessering minutes before that, the same exact play, they didn't call there. It didn't make any sense. Made no sense. Duane, how did you feel seeing this shitstorm live at the KeyBank Center? It was tough to watch, man. It was really, really tough to watch. The power play especially. And I love the new handle in here. I'm not sure who this is. Jacob Bryson sucks 7 days. Such a stupid game. It was. That's a game you should win. You've proved like you've beaten teams like them. And don't be wrong, like Pittsburgh has exceeded probably expectations this season. The Stewart Skinner trade, I think for the most part has probably worked out in their favor. But at the end of the day, like it's a team you're faster than. In my opinion, you're more skilled than. Like a bunch of guys I've never heard of before scored tonight. Like Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Carlson, and Rust all combined for, I believe. And I don't know if they had any points on that empty net goal, but I believe they all combined for 0 points tonight. And you lost 5-2. 5-2. That's inexcusable. Inexcusable. Jacob Bryson looks like an AHL defenseman tonight. He didn't even look like a 7th NHL defense. He looked like a legitimate AHL defenseman. He was awful. Awful. And Michael Kessling does not look healthy. And I'll flat out say it. Like, that guy is playing hurt because I remember watching him in Utah. And this is not that same guy. Not that same guy. And it's not, to me, it's not like he's out there. It's not, for me, it's not like he's upset that he plays for Buffalo. That he doesn't want to perform or anything like that. Like, he's just hurt. I think he's just hurt. I don't know. Duane, that's because he is a fucking AHL defense. No, I agree. Kessling is playing through a high ankle sprain. Yeah, like that's not something that you just goes away with with the amount of time he's been out. That's something that can linger an entire season. And I agree with this. Kessling is hurt and desperate to prove himself, and it's showing. Yeah, because he sees how this team is performing, and he wants to be a part of it. And for a guy like him, too, this break is a great time for him to reset and get healthy. Zucker and Quinn offside after offside. Yeah, this game was so discombobulated from a team standpoint. Again, the offsides calls, the absolute chaos when it came to the power play. 5-on-5, they didn't look very good at all. You had a backup goalie in there, and you started off the game great. First shot, Zucker, bar in, beautiful sound. Puck going bar in, it's a beautiful sound if you're a goal, if you're a forward or a defenseman or whatever. Maybe not for a goalie. Beautiful sound. Fucking barn was electric. It was loud. And then you just can't capitalize off that momentum in the game. You let him tie it, and then you never had a shot at it after that. Because you just didn't show up to play tonight. You didn't. And again, very disappointing. Because now you're going to be off until the 25th. Hopefully this group can keep it together and not, I don't know, come back. I believe they said be back on the ice on the 18th. They come back hopefully in shape. And I don't know, I hope they stay in shape. I hope they get in the lot in the gym, and they get in, wherever they go, wherever they go on vacation. I'm sure there's a gym or some type of workout room close by. You got to run a mile, whatever. Please stay in shape. Please stay in shape. Just be ahead of everybody else coming out of this Olympic break, because we only have 2 guys in this. A team like Tampa, who has a lot of guys playing, so there's not going to be a lot of rust there. It's both good and bad when you have this many guys, going to be, again, taking the time off and not playing, because You're giving your body a much needed rest. An 82 game schedule. Excuse me. It's an 82 game schedule. You're just close about 60 games in, and your body bumps, bruises, sprains, breaks. Like you just, it's not often in the NHL you get a break like this. You know, the last time I believe they were at the Olympics, what was it, 2014 or 2016? It's been a long time. So to get this type of a break right now, it's imperative. Hopefully Zach Benson is back and healthy coming out of this break. I'm assuming Josh Norris is going to be back. I thought he'd have been back for the last 3 games. Apparently not. I would hope, at least according to Paul Hamilton on the post game, that GMs can still talk to each other during this. You just can't make trades, but you can talk. And I know Jarmo is, going to be working with Team Finland, but in the same breath, I hope that coming out of this trade, out of this roster freeze with the Olympics, that we see some trades. We see some trades, and something improves with this team, whether it's a third pairing defenseman, when Timmins comes back and you add more depth there, and so you're not playing Metza and Bryson anymore, because and I know they haven't exactly killed you over the past couple a week or two, but tonight they were exposed. I mean, especially Bryson. I know Kesselring was a -3 through the first 3 goals, but like Bryson just did not have a good night. That pairing did not work at all. They were awful. Absolutely awful. And honestly, I would have to say, you know, hopefully coming out of this Olympic break, you don't have to worry about them anymore. You can have Bryson up in the press box. Metza back in the AHL, probably where he belongs, helping lead them on a playoff run. So I hope that everybody can just get healthy. Benson healthy, Norris healthy. I know Kulik is skating. I'm not sure if uh how far along he is. I mean, obviously he has to be. I know I know Metza didn't play, but like I don't need to see Metza anymore. That's what I'm saying. Like he belongs in the AHL. Jacob Bryson belongs in the press box. Simple as that. Bryson, in my opinion, potentially, and again, they didn't play just all around. They didn't play well, a good hockey game tonight. But in my opinion, Bryson possibly cost you at least a point tonight. Zucker was the only one that found the back of the net. Well, no, I mean Tage did tonight too. How does Bryson not turn around? Did he forget how to play? That's what drove me nuts. Like he just the lack of awareness there, kind of like with Krebs in overtime the other night, like not being aware of being able to control your gaps, like. And for a guy who's supposed to be known for speed, for Jacob Bryson, one of the attributes he has that probably keeps him at this level. Um, he wasn't close to catching up with him and breaking up that play. So not good, not good at all. Mets over, yeah, I agree, Mets over Bryson, but I don't need either of them in the NHL. I just don't. I don't know, but I'm gonna pull up, real quick here, the comments post game from Alex Lyon, because I thought they were very interesting and worth, again, when we get on the Odyssey app, you go back and listen to it. But let's see here. Lyon says tonight was maybe the best blessing in disguise for us. The last 25 games is going to be a dogfight. The Atlantic is so strong, so we have to be prepared to use this break the right way and come back at the top of our game. Lyon says every save and goal against can be evaluated. When you lose the game, you have to be honest with yourself and analyze. Again, that's all they put out there in terms of what he said, but I listened to the majority of his interview, and he was pretty much asked about the room, and if he feels like this team is the type of team that can go on a long break like this and still keep it together. And and he said, and Alex said, this team has fought really hard. They put themselves in a good spot, being where we are in the standings, but essentially with how close the Eastern Conference is, you can't get too comfortable. You can't get too complacent. It's going to be a fight. You're going to be battling in this conference and in this division. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to find a different level within yourself and take it there, because some of these teams in the Atlantic, just like I would expect we would get better at the trade, they're going to get better too. I mean, you saw the Panarin trade today. Obviously, he left the Eastern Conference and went out west, but you don't think teams in the East are going to be doing that exact same thing, trying to make that move to put them over the top heading into the playoffs? Teams always get better, find ways to get better. If only we can give Lyon a letter. I'm like, yeah, it'd be great. We could, because he's absolutely a leader. There was a reason why he had a lot of reporters around him after that game, because he always gives well thought out and honest answers. And he was honest. He didn't flat out go out and say, oh yeah, this team definitely has the character and the leadership and this, that, the other to pick things back up coming out of the limit. He goes, listen, I've only been here for less than 60 games. So, I'm still getting to know these guys myself, but I do believe we have the high character. We do have the type of leadership in this room. Again, to not get complacent and to take this break seriously, to reset and come back ready to play. And they have the type of group in this locker room to keep a positive attitude and not get down on themselves and not get negative and let that, bleed into their game. It was a really good answer in my opinion. And yeah, it's definitely, like I said, worth a listen. I'm going to see her really quick as I'm talking to. I just absolutely loved that. Let me see. Let me bring it up here. The quote from Alex Lyon. There was a video, I think. One of the reporters tweeted it out, and let me see if I can bring it up here real quick, and I'll share it. Let's see here. I'm gonna see if I can find it. One moment. See if I can find it. Here we go. So I'm gonna bring this up. Okay. I'm gonna bring it up here. Gonna share the old screen because I think it's worth it. And like I said, they were hanging out with him for, I'd say, a solid like 3 or 4 minutes interviewing him, and he gave a very well and articulated answer. Here we go. So let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. One second. Okay. Bring it in. Perfect. So
Honestly, I think tonight was maybe the best blessing in disguise that could have happened. Just it's going to put a bitter taste in my mouth, and I hope it puts a bitter taste in everybody's mouths, because it's the last 25 games is going to be a dogfight. Honestly, I think tonight was maybe the best blessing in disguise that could have happened. Just it's going to put a bitter taste in my mouth, and I hope it puts a bitter taste in everybody's mouths, because it's the last 25 games is going to be a dogfight. Honestly, I think tonight.
So I played that one twice for a reason, because there's a lot of honesty in that answer, a lot of experience in that answer, because he's been through the gauntlet. We remember what happened with him in Detroit, in Florida. Like, he has been to the playoffs. He knows what it takes to play the playoffs. He knows what it takes to win in the playoffs. He's seen it, whether he was in the net or not. He sees this opportunity, and we've had him on this show, and it was a brilliant interview. And in texting him, some of the things he has said to me, I remember he's always got a very positive mindset, and he's always locked in and focused. And when it comes to Alex Lyon, I think, like I said, I think he sees Buffalo as an opportunity to right some wrongs of the past in his career. And I don't think he takes this opportunity lightly. That's why you got that honesty in that answer, because it's like, you can't get too complacent. You can't get too comfortable, and you can't let this Olympic break get away from you and get away from your game and staying in shape and, staying game ready and staying in that mindset. Yes, do a reset, spend some time with your family, maybe have a little bit of fun. But when we get back on the ice on the 18th, be ready to fucking go. That's what I felt he said in his post-game interview. And that's what a leader is. That is absolutely what a leader is. I've got a bitter taste in my mouth. Had pepperoni pizza log. It's not sitting well. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. From Mauricio, man, Rush's breakaway all night against Sabres. Poor puck management turnovers. Yeah, turnovers killed them tonight. Absolutely killed them tonight. And they got beat by a bunch of no-name players, which drives me even more nuts. Because you kind of, as a Sabres fan, you come to a game like tonight, it's like, yeah, it's another, you want the Sabres to win. You want this to play well, but it's another chance to see Crosby and Malkin play together, possibly for one last year when, you don't know what their futures hold. And I think they combined for 0 points. And you still lost 5-2. It drives me nuts. The power play was so difficult to watch. And when we talk about playoffs and we talk about what it takes to win in the playoffs, a power play is a huge part of that. Having a competent power play is a huge part of that. There are games in this upcoming playoffs where you might only have one penalty called the entire game. You might get one opportunity, and that's it. So that's why you got to have your shit together heading into the postseason, and even this last 25 games, because you saw you've lost 2 in a row, you dropped into out of the third place, and now you're in the first wild card spot. You could easily, I say easily, I don't think it would happen, but what if you lose 3 more in a row coming out of the Olympic break? What if you lose all 3 of these road games? Then you're nervous, right? I would be nervous. I would absolutely be very nervous, because we're all from Buffalo. We know what a collapse looks like when we see it. I'm not going to sit here and say that's what's happening here. It's been a long time since I feel like they've lost 2 games in a row. And one of those games they still got a point in. But listen, if there's any team that could blow, if there's any franchise, let me say this team, because I think this team is built different. I really do. If there's a franchise that could blow a season like this and the way it's been going, it's definitely this franchise. I've seen it too many times before, and I'm sure some of you have. But having said that, I think this team is built different. I think the culture's different. I think there's more leadership in that room, and hopefully at the top, a different leader you get in with Jarmo Kekalainen, and he takes a swing here at the trade deadline. We don't sit on prospects anymore and hope they develop. You turn those prospects into assets like they did with Matthew Savoy and McLeod. Controversial opinion. I would seriously consider trading Kesselring if I can get an upgrade on defense like a White Cloud type. I was excited when we got him, but this ain't it. And I'm not sure I want to play the guy right now either. I'm not sure if he's more valuable than Timmins when he returns. Listen, this is not the defense. I know this is not the guy you were expecting to see play. I get it. He hasn't been great. He's also not healthy. There's no way that guy is healthy out there. Dealing with an ankle sprain, it's not something you just get over in the amount of time he's dealt with it. I've sprained my ankle pretty severely before, and it could take weeks, maybe even months to get over. And he's out there just trying to grind it out. And you could tell in his play certain types of motions that he makes that he is not at 100%. I think personally it's very noticeable. So um Kesslerin can look better and has absolutely. Bring in someone like Uyghur, Ryan O'Reilly, Kyrie Thomas. Yeah, those are names, a lot of names we've all talked about on this show, and would love any one of those names. But you know, we'll see what Yarmo wants to do. I think he's got a home run swing in him, and I think coming out of the Olympic break, we're gonna have a new face on this team. Um, Maybe that we whose name we haven't even discussed. I just cannot see Jarmo Kekalainen sitting on his hands and not doing anything significant, making some minor bottom six trades. I think a top six trade could be on the horizon, and that's my opinion. If anything, you've seen over the last couple games, and then you go even going back to the Carolina game where you got goalied by Bussy, who got another shutout tonight. Um, if there's anything I've learned through those three particular games, the Carolina game, the Tampa game, and then this game tonight, is that the margin for error is very minimal. You have to fix this power play. Have to. And I see it in the comments. Patrick Laine coming to Buffalo. Hey, if you score on the power play, sign me up. Imagine being nervous about Columbus. Hey, Columbus is what, is 7 games in a row they've won? Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. All it takes, and we should know, we went on a 10-game winning streak, and we went from being a lottery team to being the hottest team in the Eastern Conference. So that being said, I'm going to kick it back to the sponsors. Shout it again to Fatty Beer Company. Oh shit. Ugh, sorry, it's been a long day. Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you want to grab a beer, get over to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you over from 2 goalies, 1 Mike. I want to give a special shout out to the Cespedes Barbecue Boys too. They were at the game, sit on the glass. Yeah, as some of you know, when we had them on the podcast, I think it was like a week or 2 ago, that they became, official Sabres fans. They decided to pick a hockey team to root for, and they landed on the Sabres. Mostly from what I understand, like when I remember, like the underdog aspect of it. But guess what? The first year they root for them, turns out they're a pretty good hockey team. And I got to meet both of them tonight. Absolute absolute beauties, Jordan and Jake. I tweeted out a picture of us 3 together, when worlds collide. So the Sabres, the Sabres noticed, realized that they had him in the building. They did some content with him too. Had a blast with those guys. Absolute beauties, Jake and Jordan. They are going to go to the Sabres game on April 4th in Washington, and I am very much so considering taking a road trip and going in their neck of the woods and representing repping and supporting the Sabres from out in Washington. And we're okay. Yeah, like I said, Jordan and Jake. Sorry, I always wanted to tweet out a thank you and give them a shout out. But yeah, I got to meet both Jordan and Jake, like I said, and they're absolute beauties. Met them between the first and the second. They were actually with the Sabres media team and PR team, doing a video for them. Once they realized that they were at the game tonight, and doing some collab and content with them. And I just, my first time meeting them in person, and they're as advertised. If you want, you follow their podcasts, you can find them at Cespedes Barbecue, I believe. Yep, at Cespedes BBQ. That's at CESPEDES BBQ. They host the Cespedes Barbiecast, one of the biggest baseball podcasts again in the entire country. But they became Sabres fans this year because they wanted to follow a hockey team, and I think they're for real. I don't think this is just going to be a bandwagon for them that's going to fade out. I think they're going to be sticking around for a long time to be a part of this fan base with us again from abroad, so to speak. And they were locked in. They were absolutely locked in, and I was watching them from up my suite where they were on the boards, and they were banging the glass. They were having a good time. Not I can tell you with confidence this will not be the last time they're at a Sabres game in our barn for sure. So shout out to both of them. They were absolutely awesome, and was super stoked to meet again both Jordan and Jake. So thanks for taking the time. Thanks for hopping on the bandwagon, so to speak. And you know, I hope to see you guys on April 4th. I hope to come to Washington and come check things out. And again, I've only been to a few other arenas, and I have not been to Washington. I'll see Ovi come skate on his territory. But yeah, as we head into the Olympics, not the way you wanted to end this stretch. But again, like Alex said, this could be a blessing in disguise. You should go into the Olympics with a bitter taste in your mouth. Go get healthy, reset, take your cold plunges, get with the medical staff here, do any therapy or rehab you have to do. But also again, just reset and take a vacation if you need it. But just be in that positive mindset that, while I'm taking this time to enjoy myself, I also have to have my mind on my game and keep myself both mentally and physically ready when we get back on the ice on the 18th. So I'm not dogging it, that I'm not rusty, and let that affect myself and my teammates, because you cannot let that happen. Like Alex said, it's going to be a dogfight for this last stretch, and you have 15 games in 29 days when you come back. 10 of those are at home, which is a relief, but still, I mean, maybe you win coming out of it, and you just can't get into the same old Sabres where you win one, you lose two, win another, lose one, win another, lose three. You know what I mean? Like the patterns that we've seen in the past with this team. They can never consistently win. They've been able to consistently win, obviously, now for over 2 months. So it's time to keep our foot on the gas, put this one in the rear view. I know as cliche as that sounds, but keep this one in the rear view mirror. Take the lessons you need. Let's get healthy. Let's get Norris back. Let's get Benson back. I'm not sure exactly the timeline on Timmins. I can't remember how far out he is. Hopefully, we see Kulik back in this lineup sooner or later, and hopefully Yarmo makes the move necessary to get this team over the hump and break this god awful playoff drought. Shout out to all of you in the chat for sticking up with me late. Again, I'm sorry I came on as late as I did. I did go to the game tonight, and I was legitimately stuck in traffic for like 45 minutes. It was awful. As much as I love how good this team is, again, there is always a downside to stuff like this. It can never be 100% perfect and true or whatever. The traffic. I did not miss the Sabres post game traffic. That was awful. I was sitting in the lot I parked in. Again, with it being a work thing, I was able to, I just paid for parking close by to the arena because I could expense it. But I was stuck in that parking lot, no lie, for at least 30 to 40 minutes. And I was parked like kind of sort of near an exit, but with how close this game really was, right down to the wire, like I didn't want to leave early. I mean, it was a 4-1 game. We're winning with 3 minutes left. Yeah, I'm gonna dip out here. Well, a little early here so I can, not get stuck in this traffic, but that traffic was awful tonight. It was so bad. So, but I appreciate you all again waiting for me to come on and sticking with me through the night. I think it's after midnight now, right? It's 12:03. Yeah, it's now officially Friday. So get some sleep out there. If you don't have a good enough mattress, go to Extreme Discount Mattress, where they have all the best all of the best mattress options available at all 7 of their locations and the new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga. You can let them know that we over here at Two Goalies with Mike sent you. Get yourself a free mattress protector. The lowest prices in the area, bar none. They are second to none. So I'm currently sleeping on a mattress that I got from Extreme Discount Mattress, and I can tell you right now, man, there's one thing you gotta take care of over the course of your life. It's your back. And I've never slept this good in my life. So I highly suggest getting down there. Again, let them know that we sent you. You get yourself a free mattress protector. Be like Cespedes Barbecue. Be like Jake and be like Jordan. Get to a fatty beer near you. Become a Mug Club member. Enjoy an FEM Mango Wheat. That's the one I would suggest the most. And if you are watching and you do enjoy our show, you do enjoy the podcast, if you're not subscribed already, you can find us on Apple and Spotify, wherever you get your audio podcast. We go live on Twitter and Facebook. You can find me at Duane S39. You can find my normal co-host Connor Hurley at CHurls13. You can find the podcast at Two Goalies One Mike. As I can see, a lot of you are watching on YouTube right now. Those of you who have stuck with me through this, please, while we're on, make sure you hit that like button. Hammer the like button. And hit the little bell icon so you know when we go live. But before we do, I do want to announce, and I do have a lot of you. I owe it all to you. We finally hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's a milestone for us that I'm extremely proud of, but I also couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you for sticking with me through these long nights when the team stunk. We've been doing this now, post-game now show. It's the 3rd season. It means a lot to me. So I share this accomplishment with all of you, because without you, we would not, be here, and we would not have this show, and we would not have 1,000 subscribers. So appreciate the hell out of all of you. So please hammer that like button, hammer that subscribe button. And as always, go Sabres. We will do some shows during the Olympic break, but we might go on a little bit of a hiatus just to kind of give ourselves a reset. But don't worry, we're not going to let ourselves get complacent and comfortable. So, but we will do a couple shows. But in terms of the post-game show, unless something significant happens in the Olympics that involves Tage or Darlene, we'll probably not do another post-game show until either like the gold medal game, again, if those guys are involved, or B, we'll do our normal Tuesday podcast. So we'll talk to you guys later. And again, as always, go Sabres.